You're listening to the B&H Photography Podcast. For over 40 years, B&H has been the professional source for photography, video, audio, and more. For your favorite gear, news, and reviews, visit us at bnh.com or download the B&H app to your iPhone or Android device. Now here's your host, Alan Weitz.
Greetings and welcome to the B&H Photography Podcast. Spring is finally here, which means Mother's Day is close at hand. With that thought in mind, our guest today is photographer Elinor Carucci. Born in Jerusalem, Elinor crossed the pond back in 1995, and at the tender age of 24 was determined to make it as a professional fine art photographer here in the United States. Since she's arrived, she's been awarded the 2001 ICP Infinity Award for Young Photographers, a Guggenheim Fellowship back in 2002, and an NYFA Fellowship in 2010. Her work is included in the collections of museums, including MoMA, the Jewish Museum, the Houston Museum of Fine Art, and the Brooklyn Museum. Her photographs have appeared in New York Times Magazine, The New Yorker, Details, New York Magazine, W, Aperture, Art News, and others. She's also held teaching positions at my alma mater, SVA, ICP, Harvard, and Princeton University. To date, Elinor has published 3 monographs, Closer, Diary of a Dancer, and Mother. But it wasn't always easy. After 3 years of pounding the pavement, visiting galleries, and trying to get a foot in the door of the New York gallery scene, she called her mother back home, crying about how hard and demoralizing her experiences have been since she's arrived here in the States. Mom's response? Don't come home. Welcome, Elinor, and happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. Thank you.
Couldn't resist. Okay. Has that hurt and pain worn off?
Most of the time, but
Okay.
I still have those, painful moments. It's just that as an adult or as a woman who is a 46-year-old, I'm trying to behave better about it.
And I guess the kids, watching the kids' behavior helps
Or
improve
not,
your own behavior.
or not.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, big question, I guess, if I can jump in.
Go.
And we're talking about these 2 books, Closer and Mother. Which one is more about motherhood?
I don't know if I have an answer for that. They're both about motherhood. Closer is more about my mother and the role of photography and how maybe I got to see more of her with a camera. And Mother is more about me being a mother and mothering my own children. But they're both, in a way, about motherhood.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you start the Closer, which was published in what year?
2001 or 2?
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. My mother was the first person I ever photographed.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
She was the first, and she was a great first person to photograph because, like many typical Jewish mamas, she thought that her kids are wonderful and talented and little geniuses, and she was really willing to participate and open up in being photographed and in the process of discovering each other with the photography involved.
And was she interested in the arts or in photography or your father? Anybody?
No. My father did as a hobby, and it was his camera that I took when I was 15 and looked for something to photograph, then walked into my mother's room. And
What do you attribute their openness? Because anybody's looked at your photographs, I mean, it's hard not to realize and see how truly intimate on every single level these pictures are. These are more than family pictures. These are more than photo illustration. This is a whole new genre. You really, really do break down a lot of walls and push the envelope in many, many ways. Most parents that I've known in my time would not go along with this, would just look at you like you're nuts, okay, and say, I'm going to have a word with your father about this. Was it easy to break through? Because it seems to be such a fluidity between you and your brother and your parents and family members. It's as if you're really you're one. You're like Carl is a colony of little things together creating this big thing. That's kind of what I get.
Family,
there.
right?
That is family.
I mean,
yeah.
If you're lucky. Yeah.
If you're lucky, yes. What do you attribute that to? Do you ever think about that? Because I don't think most families are like this.
More families are like this in Israel. So some of it is the different culture in Israel that is more open, more straightforward, more even rude, some people would say. Definitely in the physical way, it is changing a little bit and regressing, but we weren't that unusual. My parents were very open, and physically too. It wasn't like we were living our lives naked, but I would see them naked. Maybe it was more unusual between me and my father, the fact that he saw me naked and I saw him. But among women, and this is also true for some other Middle Eastern countries, among women, nudity is very accepted. It's why I always saw my aunt and my grandma nude. It was not until I arrived to America when, for the first time in my life, I met women who have never seen their mothers naked. First time ever. I don't think it existed.
But you brought something else into the equation, a camera.
Right.
You know, it's behind closed doors in a family. That's all. I get it. That's fine. There's a flow of life within a family, and there are different cultures. But you also brought a camera into the relationship. Was that easy to do? Did they flinch at first? Or was this just part of the transparency?
It is a challenge. It is a challenge. It was easier with my mom because I think she enjoyed the performing part of being photographed, and the fact that I was so almost obsessed and fascinated with how much I could discover about her through photographing her. With my dad, and if you notice, there are no nude images of him
Right.
In the book. It was a little different. And I also had to learn about different boundaries with different family members. So the camera did change, as you mentioned. It is true. It did change the situation and made things a little pieces of performance. Are we willing to perform this aspect of us or not?
Mm.
Do you have anything that makes you stop? I mean, do you have a boundaries where you say, this I'm not taking pictures of? Or I'd rather
About
not?
myself?
Well, or about yourself or about with others? I mean,
With others, yes. And a lot of it is respect and sensitivity to who they are and what they want.
Okay.
With myself, no. Everything.
I've noticed. No, seriously, it's like, it is the most open-souled book I've ever seen photographed. No, seriously, talking about bearing yourself. Here you really do, though. It's obvious that there's a commitment here and there's a belief in what you're doing. No, seriously, it's like, it's...
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Let me ask you said you talked about your mother and performance and maybe she appreciated some of the attention. What was your mother's, if you can say, her interests in life or her goals or her professions or what did she do, and what do you think that maybe the attention you were giving her as a photographer might have brought out of her?
She didn't work when we were growing up. She does work now. She started a late career and is doing very, very well. But she didn't work. She was always, though, she did volunteer, and her presence, she's very beautiful and very glamorous.
I guess that's kind of what I was getting at. Was there maybe something that she had wanted to do as a young woman that she put aside for family, and you giving her this attention with the camera brought it back out?
No. I think it was a choice that she was happy with. But she was, as I said, the glamour in her. She was this kind of a woman that enters a room and everybody noticed. She is provocative. She is dramatic. She is extreme. And she enjoyed this new stage that I created with the photography for her and for me and for the rest of the family. And then the exposure and even the controversy and the arguments about my pictures. It's not for everyone.
And always supportive?
It is for my mom, and she is always supportive.
Did you ever freak them out at any point in time when all of a sudden you started gaining exposure and the pictures are getting out there and all of a sudden they're saying, our daughter was taking these lovely little family pictures and they're out there now. Was any of that, or were they okay about all that?
No, they're okay. They're just freaked out if I'm sad or if I feel like, as long as I'm finding my voice and my path, they're really happy. They're really proud of me and happy and want me to be who I am. they're freaked out when I'm not taking pictures. Or when the pictures are not where I want them to be, and I'm worried or frustrated or, defeated, or then they're freaked out.
And you spoke about maybe the differences between the cultures in Israel and here, but your work, by the time this book came out, you had already been living here. I mean, most of the photos were shot in Israel, of the first book anyway.
Closer. Right? Not most. I think it's half and half.
Okay.
Yeah, but
okay. So then when it was time to approach the next series, and there are other series that didn't come into books regarding your family.
Right.
Did you feel the constraints of our culture here? Did it have any effect on your work? And I'm not even talking about photos of your children at this point, but just in general. Did you feel like, oh, wow, I can't do that here? Or
I didn't until I became a mother of two, and this is what they are, American kids.
Right.
And then I don't even know if it's the fact that they're Americans, born and raised here, or the responsibilities of a mother that make you think about things differently, that did make me think about things differently. And even it challenges my own identity, because I think until then I was like, I'm Israeli and this is my culture and this is who I am, and it's very simple. Once you become a mother and your kids are born and raised here, I always tell my kids, I felt like I gave birth to two roots. You are my American root. And I can't say I'm Israeli, I am American now and Israeli, or I don't even know which. It is a conflict sometimes, the Israeli and American. And I want to be a part of this community, this society, as a mother and as a person.
Do you think these images or the photos you have taken of your children would be different if you guys lived in Israel?
For sure, they would be different because immigrating changes you, and living in another culture changes you. How different or in what way, I would never know. Yeah. I would pay everything I have to see the mother book as it was done in Israel.
That's beautiful, right? Wow, that's
would
great.
Be amazing to compare the two.
Well, also, and I know Sally Mann is an important influence or somebody that you look to, and she put out a book a couple of years ago, and some of one of the quotes she said is, "Maintaining the dignity of my subjects has grown to be over the years an imperative in my work."
I love her work. I don't even agree with some of the criticism about her work. I think she's probably a wonderful mother. Finding her children to be her muse and inspiration for me is inspiring, and I think she portrayed them in a nuanced and layered but beautiful way.
Yeah.
So,
in terms of just the aging process, do you look back on any of the images and say, wow, I probably wouldn't have published that one today, or maybe I didn't approach this person in my family with the utmost of respect and dignity, or nothing of that sort?
I have many regrets, but not about this. No, I don't think... Listen, I'm Jewish. The guilt is a big part of who I am, and I never want to feel guilty about photographing my own family or photographing an editorial assignment. And sometimes it's not even the integrity. It is, but it's I want to go sleep at night feeling that I was maybe a courageous artist and pushing the boundaries, but a good, respectful person. I don't want to have the Jewish guilt. It will kill me.
This is kind of what I guess I'm having a hard time formulating this thought, but we're in a time where there's such a pushback culturally about photographing children and parents are taking photos of their children all the time now. So why, in the art world anyway, are we getting this sense of, okay, we need to be more respectful. We can't show these images. And even people who I consider open and respectful of the artistic process even step back a little bit. Just trying to figure out why we're at this stage in our culture.
I mean, first of all, I don't know, because it's so complicated. I think that some of it... I mean, on one hand, social media made what I'm doing more common. In a way, everybody's posting pictures of their lives all the time, parents of their children of themselves. On the other way, our control over images these days, you post something and it's out in the world. And even if you take it off, we can't control
That's a
it.
good point.
It's out there
That's a
forever.
good
It's
point.
out there forever, and it can go. It can be a good thing and a bad thing. It can go viral. It can be seen by millions of people within hours. And so I think it's a scary thought. And so if you make a picture and you might regret it or it's too much, that's it.
Yeah.
It's gone.
It's too late.
And it's so I think maybe we want more control, and this is a scary kind of world to live in.
And I think
that's
also
a good
there's
point,
been
yeah.
a swing of conservatism across the world, and here in
Right,
the States for
right.
sure, and it seems to be
Also
showing
in
up
Israel.
all in
This is
yeah,
what
yeah.
I mentioned before,
Yeah.
that things are changing in Israel. And
Sure.
I was running around naked as a 5-year-old on the beaches of Israel. I think
That's not happening now.
It's not happening now.
That's not happening at all. Do you ever take snapshots just for the heck of taking a snapshot, or when you have a camera in your hand, is your head already geared at, okay, now I'm in fine art photographer mode? I mean, I know for me personally, if I'm at a family gathering, I never take a camera. I mean, now everyone has a phone. But it used to
Right.
be that if somebody said, hey, could you take your camera along? It's like my heart sank, because it means I'm no longer a guest. I'm working.
Right.
But there is a difference between just picking up a camera just to casually take a snapshot kind of thing, and then picking up a camera and your head goes into it. Are you able to separate all that stuff, or as soon as you have a camera, are you the artist again?
I am, yeah. I don't take snapshots.
Okay.
This is my husband's
That's your
role.
husband to do that. I was going to say.
Yes, he is like, no. Or even if there is like, we had the bar mitzvah and bat mitzvah, and my mom was like, Elinor, can you take some normal pictures for the event? I'm like, no, Eran, my husband, he will do the normal
He
pictures.
shot the tables, right?
Yeah.
All the table shots, yes.
Yes.
Well, can we speak about that in terms of your photos, the art photos, because obviously you're a subject of many of your photos, and some appear anyway as if they were taken off the cuff. I have a feeling that they were set up.
Right.
Even some of the ones where we have where you're pulling or arguing with your child in the street.
Right.
Can you talk about how those are made?
Yes, those are made, most of them are made with a tripod and a self-timer. So it's either a self-timer, and in the digital era, it's easier because I can program the camera to take 50 pictures, one every second, or I can ask my husband to just continuously take pictures, and then I don't even copy all of them from the card. So it's either a self-timer or my husband is pressing the button, but they're usually on a tripod, and we're setting it up, and then he helps me a lot, and I come into the frame.
So
spontaneity is not necessarily in these pictures.
From me, no, because I am the photographer.
Right.
I am acting my own life to my
You're
camera.
creating this scenario, yeah.
But the kid, which is it's a little different right now because they're almost 14. The kids are more spontaneous because they're kids. So those are situations that I'm preparing the lights and the strobes and the
You're
camera.
creating the setup, but then you're letting it go.
I let it go,
Okay.
and many of the pictures I want to take just don't happen, and others happen because the kids are living the moment. And even if the moment is changing, sometimes I'll tell my husband, just take the camera off the tripod and move here and take pictures, and then they're fighting, and then he takes the picture, then I take the camera and photograph them. So they have kind of got used to living their lives and ignoring the camera. It's boring by now. They're ignoring the camera, and they're fighting and yelling at me, and it's all happening, and the camera is there.
Did they ever turn to you and go, no, not now. No, Mom.
Of course, all the
Okay,
time.
all
Of
right.
course, all the time. I mean, they still let me take a lot of pictures, and they're very supportive. But they're like, "Mom, no, and not now." And then I beg, or I'm like, "Really?"
Can
But
you give us an idea? Give us some of the begging. I mean, how do you... Just want to know how it works.
Just look at the photos.
Oh, the face is going everywhere.
okay, it's bad. I'm gonna show some of my bad side. So it can just be like only one,
Yeah, just
and
one
then
more.
now they know, Mom, it's never one. It's
Yeah.
like, so only one is one begging. But it can also go to like, really, with everything that I've done for you, all I want is to take a few pictures, and you can't. I know it's bad. It's bad. And then my husband
Something
is
about
like,
that guilt thing, eh? Right?
exactly. He's like, Elinor, stop it. So I sometimes just.
Well, I always use that. Well, come on, the light is perfect. You need this
know.
light right now.
That's right.
We were doing it last night. Well, I'm looking at a shot here where I can only assume you were at least inspired by the last minute dash to school because you were late, and maybe I'm wrong about that.
Yeah.
And then did you say, okay, let's go back tomorrow and set it up and take that photo? Is that somewhere close to maybe where, and we can put this photo on the website maybe and let people see it, but is that kind of how it works? You thought, well, this is a moment I want to capture. Let's go back tomorrow. I'll hold you, you run, and I'll either set the camera up or your husband will take the picture. And
I mean, we did capture the morning, and then I continue running with the kid to wherever we had to be,
Right.
and my husband then takes the
this
gear
breaks it down.
back home.
Yeah.
So a lot of it we prepare, and then I run with the kids.
Reenact it,
Sometimes I
yeah.
run back
Yeah,
and run
yeah.
with them again,
Take
and then
two.
we're really
Right.
late, and then we're really running.
And this brings up the question of authorship to some degree. Have you
Right.
spoken about this, or what does your husband have to say when it comes to whose name's on the photo? If he happened to be pressing the button.
No, they're mine. If you look at his work, he's a street photographer.
Oh,
we studied
okay.
photography
Okay,
together.
all right.
They're my frames and my themes
Mm-hmm.
and my choice of lighting and moments. And he helps me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He helps me edit and he helps me think about. So he's a partner and a supporter. But these are my images.
I think it's only fair to say that if you look at any of the greater artists, and I put you in that group,
Thank you.
many of them have a lot of people doing a lot of the work. I mean, there were some paintings that they barely touched it.
Right.
Well, their assistants are doing it there. You know, it's part of that whole program. So
And
it's
also,
not really
some of the photos are self-timer. They're not all. You know, some are self-timers. Some are even held
Yeah.
by me, and when it's close, or I'm holding my hands are there, my face, but I'm holding the camera. And some are run, and some are the kids now that are also helping me set the timer, press the button
use the phone at all.
to take
Smartphone?
pictures.
Yeah.
No,
Ah, okay.
only to photograph contracts that I'm signing and have to send back.
All right, fair. Okay, good. Is it just because I'm just curious to know why, because it's such a spontaneous tool to have.
Or note taking. I mean,
No, I mean I just don't. I'm
You don't have to
wondering.
apologize.
No. I'm wondering now why I never, because the way I think about a photograph, I think, is something that will go out to the world and create a dialogue, create a response. This is how I think about photographs. So if they have no potential of doing that, I'm not going to blow them up and put them on a wall, then I don't need to take them, I guess. That's, I guess.
Okay. All right.
it's a good place for a break.
It's a great place for a break. Okay. And speaking of break, we're going to take a short break, and we come back more with Elinor Carucci. Stay tuned.
We hope you're enjoying this edition of the B&H Photography Podcast. Send us a tweet at BHPhotoVideo, hashtag BHPhotoPodcast.
Okay, we are back with Elinor Carucci. And John, I think you wanted to follow up on a
Yeah, I just
question.
wanted to get back to some of the shots where you kind of are recreating a scene, and they seem so. There's so much spontaneity in them, where you're talking with your child or pulling her by the arm. How hard is it to recreate something that, at least when you maybe first visualized it, was a spontaneous mother-daughter moment? I guess you kind of said you take a whole bunch of shots and find
Right.
the one that seems closest to your feeling? Is that...
It's just very hard to make a good picture. It doesn't matter, I guess, the way. It's hard to make pictures that are staged, and it's hard to make good snapshots, and it's hard to make really strong, complex, layered images, and this is as hard. I mean, some of my work really ranges from total snapshots, the ones that I'm not in, to situations and images that are very staged. And there are challenges in each one of those on the spectrum between completely snapshot.
Do you have a feeling or I don't know, a sense of that you need to get a shot in one take? Let's say your snapshots, or for example, I mean, is it that moment, and if you didn't get it, that's it? You're not going to take a bunch, or you take 5 or 10 shots? And,
No, I
and pick
take
the best?
I not only I take a few shots. I sometimes try to capture a moment a few times. There are a lot of bad pictures I take, and a lot of failed attempts. Or many times the image, and this I spoke about it before. I want to take a certain image, a certain moment. It doesn't work, but I continue with whatever else is happening. And I tried for one thing, and I ended up with another. So it's kind of humbling.
Yeah.
I feel Sally Mann, we're mentioning her again, was talking about the gods of photography. And I do sometimes feel that way, that you're trying, but some of it, you just have to try and work hard. I sometimes tell my students, like going to the gym sometimes, you have to wake up in the morning and go and do your pictures. It's not, don't wait to be the artist with the inspirational moment. And it's usually doesn't work this way. You have to try and take pictures and take mediocre pictures and work through them to get to maybe the good one.
And when you're in the street, take your eyes off your phone.
If you want to stay alive.
and see what's happening. Question I have, a lot of these pictures are seemingly spontaneous, but in fact, they're created. Are you always on, or are you always prepared for these things? I mean, do you always have a tripod or some kind of support with you where something comes, okay, this is it, something has to happen now?
Two things. First, even though they're staged, I feel that the moments are very real. I try to create a situation where a real moment will happen. Even if I stage the light and I prepare and I clean the background, and then I call Eden, my son, or Emmanuel, my daughter, then something real is happening within the staging. And that's why I feel that I'm creating a little stage to live our own lives in it.
It's improv to a sense.
It is, yeah.
In a sense,
there are a lot of elements.
Here's a situation, let's go with it.
Let's leave it. Let's come back to a moment that happened a day ago or 2 minutes ago, and let's see what happens. So it's not that if they're staged, we're not actors, acting someone else's script. We're Elinor and Iran going back to a moment in our own lives.
And I've read where you've spoken about how this process has brought you closer to your children, and you've learned things about them by putting them through this process, which gets back to one of my earlier ideas or points where we're reading, and back to Sally Mann and other people, about the relationship, looking back to the children with some reservation. And I found it refreshing, beautiful, and true, at least in my experience, that going through these moments with my children, you learn about them, and they learn about you, and it's a great little process.
Right.
So,
It's like putting a mirror in front of our lives, and then we can stare at those moments and see ourselves in them. The other thing is that I'm not always ready, and in many, many times and days, and I don't take pictures, but there are many times where I have light. There are strobes open in my apartment, and I go out with LED light, and you see how strong my arms are, and holding the camera and getting the light. And if something happens, I'm also an aperture reader. I already know from my Profoto, this is 5.6. Here it's going to be 8. This is 4.
You know your tools.
I know and I put them, and they're there, so I can just take a picture.
How do you feel
quickly.
when you miss it? If let's say you missed a photo that you wanted, do you let it pass easily, or does it haunt you?
I miss photos all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, the reason to take pictures is because we lose moments all the time. We lose people sometimes. So it's there. It's part of who I am, and I think all of us, professional photographers or not, we take pictures because we're missing moments. We're missing people. And so it's kind of an existential thing. I miss pictures all the time, but sometimes there is a situation where I feel, how do I go back here? Or I wish I could take a picture, or where I feel this is not the time to pull out the camera, or
that's what I was going to ask you. Do you have times when you go, it's not the right time, or I don't really want to, I just want to live this?
Not the second, yes, the first. Yes, many times it's not the right time, and I can't always take pictures. I also don't want to annoy my family too
Right.
much to burn out this process. It can't be something.
Kill your welcome. Yeah.
Exactly. But I don't feel like taking the pictures make me miss the moment. So this is not so much the worry. The worry is to just not burden too much of, not make it a burden to the people I love.
That's an interesting thing because I know for me, it's. I love taking pictures. I've been doing it for 50 years already, and to me, having a camera and walking around, even my phone. I mean, I just enjoy it. It's just a
Right.
satisfying thing. And I know that there are also times when, no, I want to be here right now. I don't want anything between me and whatever is happening. To me, a camera is usually an interference in a sense, or it breaks things up. So for me personally,
Right.
I know that I have times when, no, I don't want a camera. Get that away from me. I just want to live right now. That's why I was curious. And you seize it. You just go
I
for
feel it intensifies the moment for me. If I pull out a camera, I suddenly see so much more and I feel so much more that it's sometimes even too intense maybe for a certain moment, but I don't feel like that it's between me. It's for me, it's really a tool to connect.
Okay.
And it sometimes even happens with strangers that I photograph in magazines. I come and I'm very nice and polite. I'm a compassionate person. But then when I pull out the camera and I start taking pictures, I really almost like feel for a moment like I love these people. I'm really there. I'm connected. So I don't feel that the camera is something that will stand between me and feeling the moment. The other way around.
Okay. All right. You're a fine art photographer. That's how you started out, and that was your goal. Now, you've since transitioned to editorial. People are now starting to actually call you up and pay you to go take pictures.
How crazy is that?
Isn't that nuts? It's insane. You're supposed to give pictures away for free. So what was your first assignment, and were you intimidated by it? I mean, again, going out and taking pictures is great. Anyone who has a camera who likes taking pictures, it's fun. But then somebody calls you up and all of a sudden you have responsibility. They're paying me to do this. I have to deliver the goods. And do I know what they really want and everything else? What was your first commercial project and how did it hit you? How did you approach it? Did it freak you out?
So because of what you're describing, I did turn down the few first editorial jobs, the magazines that approached me. I was so insecure. And,
Really?
oh my God. I was like, because the way that I work, first of all, was very private and personal and intimate.
Yeah.
I was photographing the people who loved me most. I was taking a lot of bad pictures or mediocre pictures that no one has seen. And sometimes I had a few days where I took pictures and nothing good came out, and it's not the end of the world. I'm just going to throw them away or burn the negatives, as I sometimes did, and no one will see those. So the notion, as you just described, of I have an assignment and I have to have good images, made me so nervous that I just felt like I couldn't do it. I'm not good enough. I don't have.
How did you break the news to them? I know if I was a picture editor and somebody, and you're turning down work. Did anybody say, "Are you nuts?" Or did they understand? I mean, how did you break it to them that you'd rather not?
It was funny because the first person was George Pitts. He died last year, and he was the editor of Vibe magazine. And he was the first photo editor that approached me, and I was being I mean, it was so hard to penetrate the fine art world and the galleries world, and I worked so hard to do it. And suddenly, I'm getting this opportunity, and we joked about it years later because I told him, I can't. I'm a fine art photographer, which in my mind, I felt like I'm saying, I'm limited. He saw it a little bit as me saying, in a more, I guess, arrogant way, no, I'm a fine art photographer, I'm not good. And he saw it as like, no, you're not, you're good, you're too good for this. And years later, I was like, no, George, what I meant was like, I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can handle it. So the first few times I said no. And then I felt like.
And he kept calling you back.
No. He did eventually.
Eventually,
I did
right.
when he was at Life, but other magazines, and I got so nervous. And eventually I felt that like anything in my life, it's not like I came to New York all confident. I'm going to be scared. I'm going to be insecure. I'm going to do it, and I might fail, but I have to do it.
That's the way I walk into this podcast every single episode. 120 times already.
Well, that's part of the process,
really,
right?
it's like
Anything
you
good.
can't, and I still get nervous when I get editorial assignments. I still do.
How much of the vulnerability that you're referring to do you relay, or intentionally or unintentionally, to the people you're photographing when it is an editorial assignment? Because much of the work that you do is with families, and with families who are going through tough times, at least from what I've seen.
Right.
And is it important for them to know that you can be vulnerable, that you are vulnerable, that that you can understand what they're going through to some degree? Or
For the people that I photograph?
Yeah, like for establishing the trust and the interaction that you have when you photograph them, or is it?
I leave it up to them. Some will research and look me up, and some will not. It's not their job.
Well, I mean, not necessarily in terms of your fine art work, but as much as your personality and the way you're with them. Do you sit and talk first? Do you, or just
It's
kind of?
also about what they want. I mean, I used to be a professional belly dancer for 15 years. And in those 15 years really prepared me to those editorial assignments.
I'm trying to put this together.
That in the Israeli army, you probably got everything covered, right?
Yeah.
I mean, as a belly dancer, you come to a room, and many times it's people's events or people's homes. And I dance to people from different backgrounds, and immigrants like me and other immigrant communities, rich, poor, everything. And you have to feel the room, and you have to engage with the people, with who they are. You have to bring who you are and understand who they are a little bit.
And then meet somewhere.
And it's the same way with editorial assignments. Some people, when I come in, they really don't want to talk. Some people want to tell me a little bit. Some people want to talk. So I don't have a formula. I just have me. And I bring me as I am, as I bring myself to my kids, to my husband. It's not the same closeness, but it's the same camera, it's the same eyes, it's the same heart, and the same, even more in a way, not the respect, but trying to be aware of what makes people maybe uncomfortable and be very respectful of that.
Can you speak a little bit about the series? I think it's an ongoing series now of women and children in jail, in prisons.
It's not ongoing. No, it was
just
a one-time story for People magazine.
I see.
I mean, maybe sometimes when you shoot one story, similar
seems to be the case with you.
Yes.
Is this a problem for you?
No, it's
these kind
exactly
of
what
heartbreaking stories they send you all the time.
I mean, my husband right now, when I get a story, he said, "Oh, what happened?"
Which disease?
I know, who died? No, because I mean, I find a lot of beauty and sometimes joy and optimism in those stories, and sometimes not. Sometimes they're really.
Do you make it? Do you try to bring that out in the images, or
if it's there, everything I try to bring out in the images, everything that is there and that I feel the person is giving me access to. And so when I come to those assignments, sometimes I share the list from the magazine. I'm like, they want this, this, this. If you have any ideas, everything they want to show me, I'm there to absorb.
How's your editing process for in an editorial work? Do you send in everything, a bunch, a few?
A generous bunch.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know it was generous until I started. My assistant started seeing how much I'm sending to the magazine. So I'm photographing a lot and sending an edit. It is my edit, but it's not like 8 pictures. You know, it's more.
And you had mentioned burning negatives, and this is a question I had earlier about, and I guess it flows from this question a little bit. What do you do with the fails, if you want to call them that? Like, let's say you took a series of 10 shots, and you realize right away that 3 of them are never going to be of use to you. Do you delete them? Do you find a folder and put them someplace? And how do you deal with the images that are not selected?
So there.
And I'm talking more your personal work here.
The personal work. So I now, because of digital, which I've been shooting digitally for the last 10 years, I don't even copy everything from the card. So there is just an edit right there. I might copy like around 30-40%, and the rest are being deleted forever.
Right.
And then from there, I'll start editing them down and print them and edit them down more and more before I even show it to someone. Sometimes years can go by.
I guess I'm thinking historically in the sense that, many photographers, after they pass or later in their life, other people look back at their work and they pull out things that the photographer might have rejected. Is that a concern of yours that there'll be?
Yes, I feel I had an intern who was also my graduate student when you did this MFA, and I'm a very open person. My books with nude images of and my flaws and weaknesses are out there in the world. So he and I would think of myself as someone who's very open. And then I wanted him to scan some old negatives. And it was really hard for me to have him go through my contact sheets and see to the point where I didn't know what to do. I couldn't let him go through the folders. And
You started it. Just remember that. You started this thing.
And he said, Elinor, it's fine. It's fine. I understand that not all but it was surprising for me. I think of myself as someone very open, to see how nervous I got of him going through the folders.
In other words, those contact sheets were a little bit too close for comfort.
And he did see
But that
them.
had more to do with your feeling about your work, not about your body or it was all about
the body. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's the bad images that I'm ashamed of.
That's kind of what I figured, but I wasn't sure.
No, not the body.
And in terms of having your body in the images, did the belly dancing and the work you did prior to photography have an influence on that? Did you become more comfortable with your own skin as a dancer, or was that something always part of your life?
I think many times the reason to take the picture and to show it is because I'm not comfortable with something. It's not that I'm a woman who's comfortable with her body.
That's great.
I would like to meet this woman if she exists. I am not comfortable with my body or certain parts of it, like many other women or men.
Men too. Yeah.
Right. And the photography is not to say here I'm happy with it. Is to share something I feel negatively about or embarrassed about. It's kind of a liberating process. I remember after I gave birth and I looked at my body and I was like, I don't like this body of mine right now. It was hard for me to deal with the stretch marks and the scars and the
Twins put you through major changes.
and I carried them till the 41st week.
Oh, okay.
And I took a picture and emailed it to some friends just to kind of liberate myself. Here is how I look right now. Here, it's out there. I don't have to hide anything.
Have you heard any comments or reactions to the photos that just pissed you off? That just you're like to the photos of yourself, let's say. Do you hear comments? Is there any one thing that you can remember that just angered you to no end?
I imagine trolls must have a field day with you at times.
You
I'd
can
imagine.
dismiss it easily.
I think the one thing that upsets me is when I feel that people will look down at my work and because they see it as feminine, quote unquote, work. So I feel that I'm making work that's very universal and that is talking about the core of being human. And it's work about a mother instead of seeing how really universal it. Like everyone in the world has a mother. My work is about everyone. People sometimes will look down at it and say, "Oh, it's a woman photographing her children," or it's not like serious enough for them. And this kind of way of looking down at the work. And I don't see them saying it about Lucian Freud, who's photographing his family, or sometimes male photographers. This upsets me. This, in general, when work done by women and that's being seen as feminine. And I know that some women photographers will try to stay away from making the work feel feminine or diaristic for that reason, because they don't want to be looked down at. That upsets me. people who don't like the work or don't connect to the work is part of being an artist. It can be painful, but
You're not going to make everybody
not.
happy. There's no way
Right,
that
right.
never happens.
and that's fine. It can be painful. I want everyone to love my work like any other artist, but an overall approach to a certain kind of work as not important enough because it feels feminine, that really upsets me. It really upsets me. Don't get me started.
Well, let's get you started.
Yeah, this looks like fun. Yeah, so tell me what else bothers you about these things.
Let me ask, because I was looking at the cover photo of Mother, and especially the eyes of your daughter, and I kept thinking of classical paintings. Is there any influence in your work looking back to Renaissance painting and painting of earlier centuries, or is that just me?
It's mostly photography, and for the mother's work, it's stand-up comedy and other parents, more than paintings. I wish I could talk about classical paintings. A lot of my influences are the photographers: Mary Ellen Mark, Nan Goldin,
Right.
Sally Munn, Tierney Giron, Emmett Gowan, and for this work, the stand-up of Louis C.K.
I was going to ask which comedians.
Yeah,
Let's hear.
He was. Right now, we hear nothing of his art and stand-up.
We tried to get him on the show. He's
Really?
he's a
He's a photographer.
Yeah.
I tried to get him to write for Mother, but he's
Interesting.
too big.
He has a little more spare time right now. You might have reached out.
And what about him? I've seen some of his work when he deals with family and
It was a lot about how he was talking in some of his work about how you see certain situations when you're a parent and when you're not. And when you're not a parent, or even before I was a mother, I was like maybe more judgmental, or I thought of myself, I will not do this and not do that. And then when you are a parent and you're either in the situation or you see a situation, you think about it completely differently. And that was the inspiration for some of the dragging pictures, because I remember seeing parents dragging their kids, and the kids are seeing a beautiful butterfly and looking at the beauty of the world, and the cruel parent is just like rushing them, and then you get there and you're that. Some of it is also not so great, like yelling at the kids and losing your temper. It's things that we do. I mean, I think being a parent really shows you the worst and the best of you. I mean, the love and the generosity and what I give the kids is, I didn't know in me before, and it's beautiful. But also the bad moments, and he was talking about it, and other parents were talking about it. I mean, there's some images that I did some research. I really want the work to be universal. I wanted to talk about human themes, and I remember in the picture of my daughter sitting in my lap when I'm on the toilet. I didn't want to create like a weird family kind of picture, and it happened so much. And I asked some other mothers, and I was like, let's say what they're saying. And I asked, when you pee, do your kid climb and sit on your lap, kind of almost? And they're like, oh yes, sure, all the time. And I'm like, okay, good. They kind of gave me the green light to go take this.
I was
picture.
never allowed to do these things.
do you see in kind of regards to what you're saying here, your own mother coming through you in ways that you never thought as a mother?
Sometimes, sometimes I find her in me, and sometimes I find that maybe I'm going against what she was. So it's a combination.
I personally find, like especially with my father, is that the older I get, the smarter he has become. Okay, my mom's, God bless, she's 94. She's still proving me wrong.
Wow.
So, would you encourage your kids to go into photography?
No, they're lawyers or doctors. No, I'm kidding.
That was a good.
Or any of the creative arts. I mean, would you encourage your kids?
I mean, as hard as this career can be, it's harder to not try to do what you want to do in life. So they don't show any signs of photography or art. So it hasn't come to me being
They
tested
don't-
on that. But my son is a really like math kid,
Uh-huh.
and my daughter might go to psychology, but she's creative, but she's not artistic, so I don't have
Well,
to
what-
worry about the art.
What is artistic in that sense? I mean, in your mind?
Creative or artistic relates to art
Mm-hmm.
in my mind, in a way. And the different art forms from cinema to
Is it, you mean an interest in the arts, or more of a sensibility and a way of living? And I guess I'll use my son as an example. I mean, I would consider him very artistic, and it's partly just his way of doing things and the way he looks at what he creates and things like that. But so
I think, and again, English is not my language. When I'm saying artistic, I'm thinking about the arts, and when I'm saying creative, we can be in finance and be very creative. So
when you are doing a photo with the kids involved, do they give you any input? Do they say anything regarding the process and the creation of the photo? And I'm assuming they have phones and they take pictures.
Right.
What do they take pictures of? And do you sense anything?
they really don't take a lot of pictures.
No?
I
They're
killed-
rebelling.
I
They're
ca-
rebelling.
Maybe they're rebelling. And my daughter comments. With my daughter, it became like the photography I do was a trigger to a lot of conversations that we had. Why I'm making certain images and what do I see in them and who I am. And she helps me now also edit my work. My son he just thinks that everything mommy does is great. And it's
You did a good job, Mom. Perfect.
I know,
That's it.
it's
You
like
won.
a mommy's boy for now. Let me enjoy it. It might be gone soon.
Eat
so,
it up. Eat it up.
So with him, there weren't those conversations. He's also a different person. But with my daughter, we talked about a lot of things from what is beautiful images, if they can be beautiful, but what's in them is not beautiful. So it's a conversation.
And I guess jumping a generation, have your folks, has there been any change over the years in the way your folks have approached your work, or have they given more input over the years? Is there anything that has changed from when you were shooting closer or when you were 15 to this stage in your life regarding your mother and your father?
Things have changed. They have changed, and they have changed, and they also divorced 9 years ago. And so they have changed a lot in many ways. But I think the bottom line is no, they still love me for who I am and accept my work, which especially for my father. My father is more conservative, and he can talk about, he saw the work of, because I had a book of Lila there, which is really provocative work that he did of his mother. I love this work. And he can talk about other artists like Lee or Nan Goldin when he sees it. And I'm like, oh, so Dad, what about my work? If this is what you're saying, and it could be negative what he's saying. And he's like, no, you're different. Your heart is pure and all kind of. He has a way of seeing it in a different way, which is the beauty of parenthood.
True. Very true.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Good. I mean, unless you want to talk gear, which I don't think we need to.
No.
You can.
Just out of curiosity, what cameras are you using?
I use the Canon 5DS.
Okay.
I loved the move to digital. And I'm just looking for a better Canon, if you can hear me, 28 millimeter lens. But I'm using the Canon and the
Better
Photo.
Yeah. How do you
what sense?
define better?
They don't have the, how do you call the professional lines?
Oh, the L
the L
They
series.
don't have it for 28.
Ah.
They have it for 24 and 35.
Okay, so
but
get a
not
24 and
28.
crop. What's the problem?
Oh,
I can't. Oh, I
I'm
love.
not gonna talk gear now.
Oh man, I've ruined more.
Don't
I
understand.
have ruined so many friendships in this room by throwing that line out there. Let me tell you.
But 28 is your sweet spot? That's
28. I shoot a lot with. I have also a macro lens, and I use strobes a lot for my work.
Yeah, well, one thing I wanted to mention is that looking at your work, I mean, your work is very, very, very good on a number of levels.
Thank you.
But what I particularly like is the way you crop in to details. And one of the things I love is when you get in just tight enough where if you got it any tighter, it wouldn't work, so you back up a hair. And you seem to be a master of that. You get just enough visual elements to go in to create the entire picture. There's no more information needed to get what the picture is about, and the use of color. So there's a lot here on a lot of different levels for anybody to feast on.
Mm-hmm. How much of the work will you bring a light into, and how much is natural light? Can you?
It's mostly lit.
Yeah.
Well, let me rephrase. When I was shooting in Israel, most of it wasn't lit. There was much more available light. The apartments, you don't have to be a millionaire like in Manhattan to have a lot of windows.
Or a balcony.
Everyone has a lot of windows and a lot of light. The light is much stronger because I don't shoot any higher than 100 ISO because I make my prints very big and it shows when they're large.
Even with the newest cameras that can do
100.
So you really stick to
For my own work. For
Okay.
editorial work, I have to be flexible.
Sure.
But for my own work, it's 100 ISO. And so that's why I have to almost always, in the amount of light that we have, and we have the winter here, apartments with not a lot of light. But even if I shoot in the street, I will many times bring strobes or LED light.
What do you feel about you mentioned the light in New York. Do you have New York has, and I'm sure other places do, but the winter light in New York is very specific,
Right.
and the evening and summer light. Do you have any thoughts and preferences? Do you try to create that golden New York light, even if you're in wintertime when it's more of a gray? Or not much of it?
I always feel like my work is being drawn from the dramas of everyday life. And I always feel like it's the last, I see the drama, but in order to take it out of the everyday, I have to light it. So even if there is beautiful light that I will sometimes use as it is, I always feel the need to light the situation, to remove it a little bit from where it was and to create this little theater or stage, as I said before.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's great. That's interesting. Huh.
Any shows coming up? Any new projects you're working on?
Yes, I'm doing a workshop in ICP with Justin O'Neill, the director of photography of Esquire, called the Photo Editor Photographer Collaboration. And I'm also doing a workshop this summer in August for New York workshops. And I'm going to be in 2 museum shows in Israel and in a festival in Italy as the main artist this summer. And working on a book that will come out when we will confirm the publisher.
Oh, okay. So we know you'll be back again, therefore. Okay, good.
I'll be back until I'm dead.
And is that next book part, and fair to say, a continuation of looking at your family and the work that you're doing now?
It's different, but it's also taken from my own life. It's called a midlife. It might be called midlife crisis, but I think it will be midlife.
Okay. So what are you doing for Mother's Day?
Nothing.
At the very least, call mom.
Yes, I will probably have my kids do something, but I'm very laid back about like dates, birthday, Mother's Day, and we might do something small. I just tell them, don't upset me on this one day, and this will be a great gift. Just be nice for 24 hours.
Why is this day different from all other days?
Yeah.
Just be nice to me.
Just be nice. Just don't upset me. That's all. Oh, how Jewish do I sound now?
No, I say the same
I think this is very
Terrible.
universal. I think this is very universal. I really do.
Great.
All right. If you are not a subscriber to our show, please head on over to Apple Podcast, Overcast, Google Play. Sign up. It's free. You can get every single show the moment it goes live, and you have access to over 120 past episodes. All that said, On behalf of Elinor, Jason, John, and myself, happy Mother's Day.